Love lives here.
So, how many of you have heard the prophecy of the eagle or the condor? Wow. Got a bunch of fresh meat. Woohoo! All right. So, the eagle and the condor, this is a prophecy of the Incan people, especially the Quechua, that lived in the Andes many, many years ago. And the prophecy of the eagle and the condor says that there is a 500-year period that the eagle and the condor used to live in the same sky. They flew together, they lived in harmony, they lived in peace, and they flew together in the same sky. Then about 500 years ago, let's say around 1492, do we know what happened in 1492, supposedly? Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Yeah, okay, all right, very good. All right, so somebody was paying attention to their history classes, right? All right, so in about 1490, 1492, somewhere in there, the eagle and the condor no longer shared the same sky. The eagle flew off. The eagle is representative of an industrial energy, of a mental energy, of a linear energy, of a rational energy, of a far-seeing energy. And the eagle flew off to find new lands and moved and continued to move, continued further and further and further until he was no longer flying in the same sky as the condor, right? And the eagle has a more masculine energy. And so the past 500 years or so, the prophecy says that we've been living under the eagle people, the eagle energy that has been going, that's been the energy, the predominant energy that's been happening in the past 500 years or so. So when you think of world history in the past 500 years, what do we see? Conquest, colonialism, patriarchy, famine, industrialization, slavery, right? So there's this 500-year period, right? But there's also been this industrial revolution, as you were saying, right? There's been this forward progress in many ways, and then there's also been a lot of atrocity in many ways, yes? So we are now entering into what was prophesied, is that we are now entering into the time when the eagle and the condor can once again come together. But let's talk about the condor for just a moment, shall we? The condor is heart-centered. The condor has a lot of intuition. The condor is wise. The condor is receptive. The condor is earth-centered. And the condor also represents feminine energy, right? And so the prophecy says that when the eagle and the condor, there's the possibility right now, as we're moving from the 1900s and we're starting this next 500-year period, which in Quechua is called Pachacuti. Pachacuti. Pacha is a word that means time and space combined. So it's not just time, it's not just space, it's time and space combined is what Pacha means. And so Pachacuti is an era, it's a period of about 500 years that we're moving into, that we've just entered into, which is a time that the eagle and the condor can once again come together, that it's being called forth, that we come together once again, the eagle and the condor, that the masculine and the feminine, the mental and the heart, the right and the left, that everything is coming back together as one. But the prophecy is only a prophecy. The prophecy is only a promise of creating a new consciousness in order for peace to be on earth, in order for peace to arrive, in order for peace to be present on earth. It requires a new level of consciousness. But the prophecy speaks of the potential. It only speaks of the potential. We, as human beings, must activate it We must what? Activate it in order to ensure that the new consciousness emerges and that there is a balance between the eagle and the condor, that the eagle and the condor can once again fly in the same sky. And as I've been sharing with you these past few months, who better to do this? We're talking about consciousness, right? We're talking about consciousness, right? Oh my God. Y'all are making me work. All right. I made you work last week. I guess it's fair turn play or whatever. Turnabout is fair play, whatever it is. So, right? It's about consciousness. And what do we do here? We work in consciousness. Isn't that what we're all about? Is consciousness, shifting our own consciousness, shifting our individual consciousness so that we can then shift the consciousness of the planet. So if we aren't doing it, then like I've asked you before, who the hell is? Right? We have the responsibility, we have the ability to shift the consciousness with the way that we think, the way that we believe, the way that we take action out into the world. And it requires us taking action. Last week I talked about love in action. It requires action. Love is a verb. It's not just a noun. It's not just a feel good, yummy, yummy, right? It's a noun. It's a verb that we have to get out there and we have to take action. We have to take action based on our values of oneness, our values of wholeness, our values of love, our values of peace, our values of unity. We have to get out there and we have to take action based on our vision of a world that works for everyone and all of creation, of a vision where all of humanity rises and awakens to its spiritual magnificence. We have to take action based on our goals of being a power and presence in this community, in Riverside, in the inland valleys, where we are a leader in consciousness, where we are a leader in love, where we are a leader in how we show up and show out. This is us. This is ours to do. Remember, your individual purpose, my individual purpose, the purpose of all of life is to be the power and the presence of love made manifest. So how are we going to do that? When we look at this eagle and the condor, and there is this separation, perhaps, there's a polarization that we've been talking about as well, right? What we have the opportunity to do, as I've mentioned before, is first find common value. We talked about this before. Do we remember this? We have different ideas, perhaps, but underneath it all, there's a common value of love. There's a common value of family. There's a common value of honesty. There's a common value of security, right? These are common values. How we go about them might look a little bit different, but these are common values. So when we have sides coming together, we think oftentimes of, okay, if we're going to make progress, each side is going to have to make some concessions. Would you agree? Each side is going to have to make some concessions, meaning I'm going to have to give up some of what I want, and you're going to have to give up some of what you want so that we can reach some sort of an agreement, right? So we can reach some sort of compromise, right? But what happens when we are compromising? What happens when we're making concessions? How are you really feeling about that? Not satisfied, right? I don't like it. I don't want to have to give up my thoughts. I don't want to have to give up my stuff, right? Why do I got to give up something? My way's right. Your way's wrong. Why should I give up my rightness? Right? But that's what negotiating is about, isn't it? Negotiating is about finding that compromise, finding where one side and the other side or multiple sides can meet with common ground. So concession and compromise is not necessarily a bad thing. However, it is not the highest way of working together, is it? Because in a concession or in a compromise, there's no real win-win because we've already lost something. So when you think of unions, like when I think back to when I was a flight attendant and we were negotiating a contract with the company, right? We had to make some concessions. They had to make some concessions. We had to make some more concessions. They had to make some more concessions. And finally, there was an agreement. Yes, the contract was better than what the old one was, but it still wasn't perfect. And there was still animosity. There was still an us versus them. There's still a sense of separation because there's still that feeling of like, I didn't get everything I want. But, in 5 years' time, when the contract comes up again, we'll work it out again. We'll talk again more, right? So it's a slow improvement, perhaps, right? But there's a better way, isn't there? There's another way than concession, than compromise. Think of that as a stage 2 level of consciousness, right? Where it's still happening by me. I might still be in a little bit of victim mode of stage 1 consciousness because I'm still pointing a finger. I'm still experiencing separation, right? We may have found common ground. We may even have a shared goal, but I'm still holding on to my position. You're still holding on to your position. And we've come together, but it's not completely harmonious. So what about cooperation? Cooperation, to operate with cooperate. Better yet, what about collaboration? Right? To labor, laborate, to labor with, to labor together, to move together. Because you see, when we cooperate, or better yet, when we collaborate, what we're doing, my beloveds, is we're bringing the best of ourselves. You're bringing the best of you, and I'm bringing the best of me. We're bringing the best of ourselves to the common goal, to the common vision, to the shared values. We're bringing the best of ourselves, and from there, we are able to co-create something even greater than what either one of us thought possible. Because where 2 or more are gathered, wisdom, spirit, divine wisdom, inspiration is there in the center. Right? So the total is more than the sum of the parts. When we collaborate, when we come to this table together and approach it from a place of, there is an issue, there is a problem, there is something, there needs a solution. There is something that we want to make better. There is something that and another way that we want to thrive, another way that we want to rise. We want to rise higher. We want to thrive more. We want to move forward together. So if you bring the best part of yourself and I bring the best part of myself, we leave all the other stuff by the wayside, then what's happening is that there is this beautiful co-creation that is wanting to occur because it is good and very good. You follow what I'm saying? So how is this resonating? How is this resonating? Much better? Okay. So when we think of the eagle is typically representative of the North Americas. And the condor is representative of the South Americas, Mesoamerica and South America. So North America, when you think of Canada, the United States, and yes, Mexico, right? Bald eagles are all important in those countries, right? Then when you think of South America, you have the Andean condor. And so South America is represented more by the condor. So there is an opportunity in our hemisphere, in the Americas, North, Central, South, Caribbean, for us to begin partnering, for us right here to begin working together to collaborate, to co-create a new way of being, a new way of moving, a new idea, a new piece. There is so much, as I shared with you before, earlier this summer, I had the opportunity to once again participate in the Convention of the Americas in Chapala, Mexico. And we had folks there from Peru. We had folks there from Colombia. We had folks there from Argentina, Mexico. We had folks from Cuba. We've had folks from China. We've had folks from Europe, as well as Mexico, obviously, Canada, and the US. It's a beautiful opportunity for science of mind, for CSL, in our Western hemisphere, in this hemisphere of reaching north and south, right? Of coming together in these principles, in these ideas, grounded and solid in consciousness and choosing consciously and creating, co-creating consciously, working together. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience. So I encourage you next year, it's going to happen in July next year, July 22nd, I believe, the Convention of the Americas. I invite you to join me. Come down to Mexico with me. Come down to Chapala. Experience this, because what I have learned is that in our Latin American and South American communities, there is a deep, deep mysticism that is natural and present in these communities because it's part of a larger culture, because they're from the Condor people, an earth-centered, a groundedness, a heart-centered, an open-centered. And they have much to share with us in our North American communities. It doesn't happen here at our center, which I'm really grateful for, because our center, when I walked in, I recognized that there is a mystical consciousness right here in this center as well, which is why I think we are the perfect people to be able to work with our Latin American communities, because we have a mystical consciousness here as well. I've been to other CSLs, and it's all about, they sit at these tables like, yeah, I demonstrated a car last month. Yeah, well, I manifested me a girlfriend. Yeah, well, I manifested money. I got my house. We're all good. It's all about the mental. It's all about the manifesting. It's all about the goodies, not the God. It's all about the stuff and not the spirit. But this community knows that there's more than stuff, knows that there's more than goodies. This community recognizes that there are stuff and goodies and God and spirit. It's not just about the stuff, not just about the goodies. Would you agree with that? Yes. So that is why we are also participating in creating a Spanish-speaking ministry here at Riverside CSL. You can clap for that, yeah. So we are soft launching, as I mentioned before, we are soft launching, and now we're going to hard launch on September 16th. We are going to hard launch our Spanish-speaking ministries. They're going to be daily prayer and meditation. prayer in the morning, meditation in the evening. And then there are also 2 or 3 services during the week. All of these will be online. All of these will be able to be found on Facebook as well as YouTube, because we are working with practitioner Emma Moreno, as well as our friends at New Thought Media Network, to bring Spanish language programming to our center so that we can begin to grow this aspect of ourselves as well. So I invite you to share this with your friends and family who are Spanish speaking, that there will be this programming available throughout the week, every week. Doesn't that sound great? Yes. All right. So we are collaborating with them. We are cooperating with them. We are finding a way of moving things forward, of moving love forward in a greater, more expansive way. Sound good? So now I want you to go to tables. There are some questions there on the table about compromise, about collaboration, and we're going to have a discussion around this. So I invite you to go to tables. And when was the last time you made a compromise? How did you feel? What does it look like to collaborate with someone? And how can you be more collaborative and less compromising yourself? And go. What I want to share with you is that collaboration and co-creation, we're always co-creating, are we not? We're always co-creating. It is whether we are intentionally co-creating or not, right? So when we talk about this co-creation in this moment, what we're talking about is intentional co-creation from a place of love, from a place of unity, from a place of oneness, because the collaboration starts with unity, wholeness, love as the base. It starts with a higher idea as the base upon which to build. That's where we collaborate from. That's where we start from. We start from, it assumes wholeness, it assumes unity, and it assumes equity. It assumes equity. That is where collaboration starts from. So, my beloveds, this week, your homework. A little vanilla ice for you. Stop, collaborate, and listen is your homework. But what I would say is stop, listen, and collaborate, okay? So rather than stop, collaborate, and listen, right? We're not going ice, ice, baby, right? It is stop, listen, and collaborate. So stop the noise, listen to what's present, listen to each other, listen to the story, listen to the expertise, listen to the high idea, listen to the ideal, and then collaborate together to move love forward. And so it is. All right. So let's come to prayer. Let's come together in consciousness right here, right now, recognizing that there is just one life. That there is one life is wholeness. This one life is perfection. This one life is unity and love and joy. This one life is forever expressing itself, forever expanding itself, knowing itself fully through and as its beloved creation, maintaining and sustaining its beloved creation. And I know that right where I am, this power and presence is, that it is the very essence of who I am. It is the power and the presence of love. It is the power and the presence of life. It is the power and the presence of peace, harmony, joy, wisdom. And it is forever working and expressing itself in harmony, in unity. And so therefore I know that a harmonious nature, a unified nature is my nature right here, right now. And as I know that this is true of me, knowing that there just is only one, I recognize that there is only one life expressing itself in, through, and as all of life, all of creation, everyone gathered here and present today, whether in the room, online, or watching later on. but there simply is just this one. And so I speak my word here and now for our beloved community that comes together in collaboration, in cooperation, recognizing that unity, harmony, wholeness, oneness, perfection is at the very base, the very core of what we do. And so I know that we come together, we work together, we labor together, we operate together to raise the consciousness not only of our individual selves, not only of our community, the spiritual community that gathers here, but the community outside of these walls, raising the consciousness of the country in which we reside, raising the consciousness of the hemisphere in which we reside, raising the consciousness of the planet on which we live. That it is each one of us taking action, remembering to lift the consciousness of ourselves. And in so doing, we contribute, we collaborate, and we co-create with our sisters, brothers, and siblings worldwide in bringing the eagle and the condor back into the same sky, flying together as one in peace, love, and joy. And so I simply give thanks for this. I let it be. And together we affirm. And so it is.